And on top of all of that, don't forget, Spurs could soon have a new boss. We'll be right across that as well. So, Dean, welcome along. This transfer window, this first transfer window of the summer, will clubs have enjoyed this, or will it have been a real problem for them?
I think it might be a slight change in terms of showing your hand early. I think we're, over the transfer windows over the last few years, it feels like we have to wait forever for transfers that you almost know are going to happen to fall all the way through the summer, and the rumours to keep going. Whereas, if clubs want to get their business done early with the Club World Cup, they've had to show their hand early, and they have done. So probably they're doing work constantly throughout the season leading into that. The transfer window, so probably it's quite nice to be able to just go straight in and try and get the players that you want. And from a player's perspective, I think that extra bonus of joining a club that's then going to go straight into a Club World Cup, joining your teammates, being able to play straight away rather than having to wait for that first game, I think is quite a nice bonus.
Any worry about the workload for players, though, because they've just finished the season, Club World Cup, then they're going to go straight into the Premier League, and then there's a World Cup?
Of course, but you don't think about that as a player. You don't. Are you envious that you see your teammates on the beach? Yes, of course. And would you want to be there on the yachts and what you see? Of course you would. Of course you would want to. But with the chance to play, players want to play and they don't really think about it until you maybe get that injury and then turn around and go probably, oh well, it probably was too much of a workload. When you're in it, you love it. It's the best job in the world that you can have. So you don't complain too much about getting to play.
So much to talk about. Right, let's go to James Savundra, who's at Chelsea. And we're all dying to know, James, attempts to sign Jamie Gittens. Are they going to get it over the line?
Well, Mark, a very good evening to you. When I got here at 7 o'clock this morning, it looked like Chelsea may sign 2 players. Then later on in the afternoon, it looked like they weren't going to sign any players. And now there is still hope they can sign 1 before the deadline at 7 p.m. Talks ongoing. Chelsea are still pushing to sign Jamie Gittens. They have not given up hope on signing the winger before the deadline at 7 p.m. this evening. They lodged a bid around £42 million earlier on this afternoon to Borussia Dortmund. That bid has not been accepted, but talks do continue. Sky in Germany are reporting that Borussia Dortmund are looking in the region of around £55 million for Gittens to leave them today. Now, we understand that Gittens has been in training today. He's been at the club's headquarters, and interestingly, the sporting director of the club was due to speak to the media earlier on this afternoon. That was cancelled. Perhaps that's linked to the ongoing discussions between Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund around the 20-year-old winger. We know Jamie Gittens wants to move to Chelsea. Jamie Gittens wants to play for Chelsea at the Club World Cup. Personal terms not expected to be a problem because there's a verbal agreement already around those personal terms. Chelsea have not given up hope, but is there enough time now? Less than 2 hours left of this first transfer window of the summer. Chelsea continue their talks with Borussia Dortmund around the signing of Jamie Gittens. Will they get this deal done?
Well, if they do, we know you'll bring it to us first. James Savundra, live from Stamford Bridge. Thanks, James. James? Yeah, James. Carvey, right, you've been across this Chelsea, all their dealings so far in this first window. Do you feel they've left it too late?
With Gittens?
Yeah.
I think it's touch and go, but I think overall they've had a really good window because they signed Liam Delap. Liam Delap could have had his pick of quite a few clubs in the Premier League, but he decided to choose Chelsea. So that is a big plus for Chelsea, especially because he had a release clause of £30 million, which in this day and age is a remarkable value for a player who could turn out to be as good as he could one day. They tried to sign Dean Howson. They were one of the clubs who were in for him. Real Madrid came in. He was always going to pick Real Madrid. The situation with the goalkeeper, Mike Maignan, they haven't been really actively looking to sign a goalkeeper, but they were offered the chance to sign Mike Maignan. They had a look at him, but they weren't willing to pay what AC Milan wanted. Jamie Gittens is more of a live situation in the sense that Chelsea will recruit in his position. They want somebody right-footed, preferably, who can play on the left wing. Mudryk is suspended at the moment. Jadon Sancho has left. And Gittens is one of their top targets. But again, I don't think they're going to pay 65 million euros, what Dortmund are asking for. Having said that, the latest information we've got is they are locked in discussions with Dortmund at the moment. So there's still a chance that the deal can be done. My only concern really is that if you look at the history of the way Dortmund do business when it comes to transfers, they don't let players go on the cheap. You remember what happened with the saga surrounding Jadon Sancho that went on and on for windows and windows and years before he moved to Manchester United. So I think if Dortmund want to make life difficult for Jamie Gittens and also for Chelsea, they are capable of doing that. But the desire from Chelsea is there to get the deal done as quickly as possible.
Dharmesh, talk us through the mechanics of what's going on now, because they've had a couple of bids rejected, Chelsea, for Gittens. How do they get this over the line in now less than 2 hours?
Try and get even closer to what Borussia Dortmund would want. I think the fees that they're talking about now, Sky Germany is saying they're after up to 65 million euros for Chelsea to be able to buy Jamie Gittens. But sometimes that 65 million can be made up of performance-related add-ons as well. So it depends how close that second bid, which was rejected by Dortmund, is to what Borussia Dortmund would actually want in an initial payment. Because if Chelsea can make up that fee, and it can be made up in various different ways, there'll be achievable add-ons, there'll be more challenging add-ons. If they can get to that point where Borussia Dortmund will be satisfied that, yes, this is as close as we want it to be to our asking price, then it can be done. But they are running out of time. But I think Carve's been saying throughout this last couple of weeks that, yes, Chelsea do want to sign Gittens. Gittens does want to go to Chelsea. But if it doesn't happen in this particular window, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen full stop, because it still can happen. And you mentioned Jadon Sancho there. I just wonder whether there's a little domino effect going on here as well, because Chelsea decided not to take up the obligation on Sancho. They ended up paying the £5 million penalty. He's gone back to United. So Chelsea now need another left-sided player who can play with his right foot, Gittens. Dortmund might need a left-sided player, and they've been asked to be kept up to date with developments on Jadon Sancho's future as well. So, look, it knows falling into place there.
I also think that for Chelsea's American owners, I think they are really invested in the Club World Cup. It's in the USA. It's a big chance for them to show off their club and attract new fans as well. And I think that's why they're delighted that they're going to be showing Delap off, because Delap could have been playing in the Under-21 Euros, which start tomorrow. And they were quite interested in the idea of also having France's #1 goalkeeper to show off, and they want to show Gittens off as well. So Chelsea's owners, I think, are taking the Club World Cup more seriously than some other people, especially in the European game.
Is that why do you think that Dortmund are in the stronger position because of the Club World Cup, or will Chelsea be saying, well, if you don't take this now for him, then after the Club World Cup we'll look elsewhere?
I think Chelsea do have other targets in that position, players like Alejandro Garnacho, but I think it's one that they would revisit, even if they don't do it tonight. I think maybe when the window opens again on Monday, it's something that they'll look at during the rest of the window, because they like the player so much. I think they've got quite close ties with his representatives as well, and the player himself really, really wants to move to Chelsea.
Okay. Just one thing on Gittens. If he doesn't get this move to Chelsea just now, and he can't play in the Club World Cup, he can actually play for Borussia Dortmund, can't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's due to play for Borussia Dortmund in the Club World Cup. They're in a group with Fluminense, the Brazilian club, Ulsan Hyundai of South Korea, and also Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. So you would have to say that Dortmund should get through that group and get into the knockout stages, and then who knows, they could face Chelsea. But at the moment, he's going to be playing for Dortmund. But in the next couple of hours, if they manage to do a deal, he could be playing for Chelsea against Los Angeles FC next Monday.
Good group knowledge, by the way.
But let's start with Chelsea then, who are involved in what is becoming a deadline day saga with Borussia Dortmund over the winger Jamie Gittens. Our reporter James Savundra has the very latest for us, as you heard, from Stamford Bridge. So what is the latest?
Hi there, Vicky. Good afternoon to you. Chelsea really pushing hard now to try to sign Jamie Gittens. In the last hour or so, we brought you the news that Chelsea had lodged a bid around £42 million to sign Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund. Now, Sky in Germany are reporting that that bid was very swiftly rejected. We've been reporting over the course of the last few days that Borussia Dortmund were looking for between 42 and 50 million pounds to sell Jamie Gittens in this transfer window. So Chelsea appear to be very, very close right now. But if that bid has indeed been rejected, then they've got a decision to make. Is there enough time to make this transfer happen with less than 3 hours to go on this transfer deadline day? We know that verbal agreement is in place when it comes to personal terms. We're not expecting that to be a problem, but there is still a significant amount of paperwork that would need to be completed between now and 7 o'clock for Jamie Gittens to represent Chelsea in the blue in the Club World Cup rather than the yellow of Borussia Dortmund at the Club World Cup, which gets underway on Saturday. So decision time for Chelsea. Is there enough time? We know they're looking for a player who can play on the left-hand side. There's no Jadon Sancho, there's no Mikhailo Mudryk. Raheem Sterling isn't an option this summer. Can they get Jamie Gittens in time to feature in that first game on Monday evening against Los Angeles FC?
Brilliant. Thank you very much, James. Yeah, Chief Correspondent Carly Sokol joins me now. So look, just tell us, I mean, we're hearing from James there, but how long have they been Chelsea been chasing Jamie Gittens?
Quite a while, but just to give you a quick update.
Oh, go on.
I'm being told that discussions are ongoing. So we know Chelsea have made this bid, £42 million. Sky Germany is saying that has been rejected. But our information is that Chelsea are still in discussions. Chelsea still think there's a chance that this deal can happen today. I know sometimes in transfers we get caught up in saying a club has made a bid, the bid's been rejected, they'd increase it. It's been, you know, we like to talk about bids and offers, but sometimes it's just about people having conversations and trying to come to an agreement over a price or over the makeup of a deal that both sides are happy with. And I think that is what is happening at the moment between Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund. To answer your question, Chelsea originally offered around £30 million for Jamie Gittens a few days ago. That was turned down. They've gone back in today and offered £42 million.
That's quite a step up.
It is a big step up, but I don't think that's going to be enough for Borussia Dortmund because Borussia Dortmund value him at around €65 million, which is about £55 million. Now, I don't think Chelsea are going to jump from 30 to 55 million in a matter of days. But, as I said, discussions are ongoing. So just because Sky Germany have said the bid has been rejected doesn't mean that Chelsea have given up on trying to sign him today.
OK, so you're just going to keep us updated with that, you know, your phone's
do my best.
Blowing up in your pocket, isn't it? What about the situation with the goalkeeper then? Because they were going for Mike Maignan. Is that not happening now?
That is one where they walked away earlier today. The information we have is they weren't looking to sign a goalkeeper. They were offered the chance to sign the France #1 goalkeeper, Mike Maignan. They had a look at it. He's going to be 30 next month. He's only got a year left on his contract. They decided he's worth 10 to 15 million euros. They were led to believe that they could do a deal between 10 and 15 million euros. That is why they got involved in discussions, but they never actually made a bid for him. And I think the feeling is that the goalposts have moved and AC Milan are actually asking for 25 or 30 million euros. And Chelsea are not going to do that, which is why they have walked away and they're happy with the goalkeepers they've got at the moment.
OK. Summer Slam shut at 7 p.m. tonight, and our chief correspondent, Carly Sokol, is here with me. Some breaking news you've got.
Yes, Chelsea in the last 10 minutes have got in touch with Borussia Dortmund and offered £42 million for Jamie Gittens. Now, they're waiting for a response from Borussia Dortmund. The important thing, though, is that the player has told Dortmund that he wants to leave Dortmund and move to Chelsea. And also, Borussia Dortmund are playing in the Club World Cup. Chelsea are playing in the Club World Cup as well. The player himself has made it clear that he wants to play for Chelsea in the Club World Cup and not Borussia Dortmund. But as things stand, he's a Borussia Dortmund player and he's due to be flying out to the US with Dortmund later this week alongside his new teammate Joe Bellingham. But he's told Dortmund, I don't want to be on the Borussia Dortmund plane to the US. I want to be on the Chelsea plane to the US. But that bid just went in 10 or 15 minutes ago. So Chelsea are waiting for a response.
OK, so just talk us through it then in terms of timing. So let's say they've got 4 hours then. So now they've got to have a think about it and then make a decision, haven't they, I guess?
I think Dortmund have to pretty quickly either accept or reject the offer. But you would think £42 million for Borussia Dortmund is big money.
Yeah.
They have just signed Joe Bellingham from Sunderland in a deal that is worth more than £30 million. So they are a public limited company.
Okay.
They're on the stock exchange in Germany. So I think they've got a sort of, they have to balance the books. And historically, they've sold players as well. And you would think £42 million for Gittens is a pretty good deal. He's a player that Chelsea like a lot. If they don't get Gittens, they'll get somebody else in that position. But he's young, he's developing. I think he spent a little bit of time at Chelsea before. He started off at Reading, then he was at the Manchester City Academy. He moved to Borussia Dortmund. He's still only 22, and he would fit into Chelsea's wage structure. But Chelsea really trying to get the player and make sure that he's on the plane with them to America and not on the Dortmund plane.
And also, if you've got a player that tells you, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to go, then it seems that this deal is kind of going to happen and happen quickly.
I think the information we had earlier today was that Chelsea were aware of the fact that time was running out, but they were not in a massive rush to do this deal.
That sounds like that, though, is in a massive rush because it's a good deal. It's a good offer, right? So it does sound like they are trying to get him over the line.
But the thing is, the Club World Cup, I think your squad can be 35 players. So it's not as if Chelsea have to have him on the plane and, their chances of winning the Club World Cup depend on signing him. He's a very, very good player, but I don't think he's that important to them potentially. But he is a top target, and Chelsea are showing that they really do mean business. The Maignan deal is not happening. I know some Chelsea fans, especially on social media, are unhappy about that because they were looking forward to Chelsea signing him. But we told you, Chelsea didn't make a bid for him. He was offered to Chelsea. But this one is totally different because this is the player Chelsea have been tracking for a very, very long time. They believe he has a big future in the game and they want him to be a Chelsea player as soon as possible.
All right, brilliant. Thank you for bringing us up to date with that, Carve. Dentist to our chief correspondent, Carve Solokol, and you're going to fill us in. Yeah, no, here all week. On what's happening at Chelsea. Off you go.
Well, we told you 45 minutes ago that Chelsea had made an offer of £42 million to Borussia Dortmund for Jamie Gittens. And just in the last few minutes, Sky Germany are reporting that that bid has been rejected by Dortmund. I think Sky Germany are basically saying Dortmund had a quick look at it and immediately their response was, no, that is not enough. We want more. We believe he's worth more than that. Now, we have to see what Chelsea decide to do next because they've got other targets in his position. We know that Chelsea are being very disciplined when it comes to their movements in the transfer market this summer. They put a set valuation on a player and they don't like going above that valuation. So we need to find out this afternoon whether their set valuation on Gittens is £42 million or no more, or if they're willing to go a little bit above that. I'm not sure whether we've now got time for Chelsea to do this deal.
They were quick to refuse it, weren't they? Because literally you weren't even sat here an hour ago telling me they'd put the bid in.
Yeah, no, it was 45 minutes ago the bid went in. They were waiting for a response. Sky Germany are now saying that response is 9.
Oh, it's 9. I like it.
I've got German O-level.
Long time ago.
Borussia Dortmund have said, no, we want more. I don't know. Is this brinkmanship from Borussia Dortmund? Because they've just signed Joe Bellingham. They've got a player on their hands who said, I want to leave Borussia Dortmund. I want to go to Chelsea. I don't want to be on the Dortmund plane to the Club World Cup. I want to be on the Chelsea plane. That plane leaves London on Friday. Chelsea's first game is next Monday against Los Angeles FC. So we just have to wait and see a few more hours. It'll all become clear whether Gittens is going to be flying with Dortmund or with Chelsea and whether he'll be playing for Dortmund or playing for Chelsea in the Club World Cup, which starts this weekend.
I'm not a betting person, but I would bet that this one will go through. I just got the feel of it because I think it's just everything's going back and forth very quickly.
I think, I'm not sure if you're right.
Yeah?
You probably know more about this.
No, of course I don't.
You probably know more about this than I do. But the information I had earlier this morning was that it was unlikely to happen because time was running out. And also Chelsea weren't in a great rush to sign him because their squad at the Club World Cup is going to be 35 players. So it wasn't as if they had to sign him and get him on the plane. He was not going to be crucial to their chances of winning the Club World Cup. But obviously, they want him a little bit more than we first believed today, and they want him quickly, which is why they've made this bid. I sort of agree with you. I think he'll end up at Chelsea. I'm not sure whether it'll be today or not, but Chelsea really, really want the player. The player himself wants to go to Chelsea. Dortmund, I think in the past, have been quite sort of difficult to deal with. You remember the whole saga with Gittens Sancho that went on for several windows before he finally moved to Manchester United. So they do like playing hardball, which is their right because he's their player. So who knows? But I think maybe today, if not, when the window opens again on Monday.
You're here till 7 anyway, so you'll keep us across it all. Thank you.
Ya saltan 1K y el Barrio. Es determinante cuánto daño puede hacer el conjunto de 1K, sobre todo con Granero en esas primeras de cambio en la salida de escalera. Así que esa parte del partido va a ser absolutamente clave para el equipo de Iker Casillas. Por cierto, felicitar porque ha venido una buena afición de 1K.
Tiene la pelota, Gerard Noya encara, sigue Noya, Noya dispara, Arnalot.
80
paradas ya para Arnalot. Gil Vidal ataca desde la derecha el número 9. Gil Vidal con el centro, buena pelota, Arché con la rodilla le pegó. Pues es el que desatasca un poco el partido, ¿no? Con centros, ojo ahí, se golpea, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Mar Valiente! ¡Gol! Del Barrio, marca Mar Valiente. Esa banda izquierda que es terreno de los cañonazos de Granero, a la que tengo un mínimo de espacio, le pega Granero. Bueno, pues es decirlo, y ahí lo tenemos. El tema es que el remate le ha salido centrado. Abraham, buena pelota, banda derecha. Vamos a ver qué hace ahí Fran Rodríguez, se mete en el área, sigue Fran. ¡Qué bien, Fran! Se va de dos, el remate, ¡fuera!
¡Chicos!
A ver si acierta. ¡Claro que
Mira
sí!
acá.
Busca el Barrio el segundo gol. Arché. Arché para Gil. Gil que le puede pegar a este Gil. Buen recorte. Gil al palo. Le manda Arché.
¡Dios!
¡Arnalot!
¡No!
Pelota
Madre
arriba.
mía, qué parada. Y a centímetros del remate, ¿eh?
No, la reacción ha sido impresionante. ¡El disparo! ¡Madre de Dios!
¡Ay!
¡Otro que vuela! ¡Otro más! Que está la pelota para John de la Cruz, la quiere levantar, vuelve a pegar la pelota en el cuerpo de un jugador del Barrio, el remate con la puntera y acaba deteniendo a Gerard Vacas. Será córner favorable a 1K. Bueno, a ver.
Gol doble.
Gol doble. A ver, saque de banda. Balón puesto en movimiento, intentaba rematar Mar Valiente, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Bauer! ¡Gol! ¡Del Barrio! ¡Le pegó con el alma! ¡Bauer!
Y es…
¡Penalti
¡Madre
normal!
mía lo de los penaltis!
¡Penalti normal! Y el que quiere hacer el 0-3 es el número 4, pega Valiente. ¡Vaya cañón! ¡Gol! Ahí están, Arnalot y Vacas como candidatos, como guardametas, y también Mar Valiente y Pau Ferojo la recuperación. Tiene la pelota al Barrio que puede sentenciar el remate. ¡Gol!
Knockout.
¡Gol!
¡Let's go, Barrio! Ponme el 5, ponme el 5, ponme el 5.
El cambio del partido ha sido radical en los últimos 10 minutos. El balón que lo tiene. ¡Ojo!
¡Ay! Jaimitada.
Marca de nuevo el Barrio, gol de Fran Fuentes. El equipo de Juan Arroita, que no ganaba un encuentro con esta tranquilidad, entre comillas, al final, con un margen tan amplio, con 2 goles dobles que han hecho pasar el partido del 0-3 al 0-7.
Paufer ha costado, pero por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan deseada con goleada. Ha costado mucho, pero bueno, le damos emoción hasta el momento final, recta final, y ahora, pase lo que pase con Pío, nos lo jugaremos contra ellos.
Eso te iba a decir, pase lo que pase con Pío, la semana que viene, o ellos, o tú, o tu ex equipo, o tú.
Bueno, o el barrio o ellos, pero sí. La vida, yo qué sé, no sé, son cosas muy raras que suceden, pero ahí estaremos. Ahora estoy en el barrio, así que espero que gane el barrio.
Enhorabuena y a disfrutarlo.
Gracias.